Every year, golfers spend billions of dollars trying to get better at golf. New driver, new irons, lessons, training aids, launch monitor sessions, fitting appointments, and more lessons. And then they go out Saturday morning and shoot the exact same score they shot last year. No, really. The average male golfer in America right now carries a 14 handicap. That same number in 1983 was 17. So in 40 years of titanium drivers, GPS rangefinders, TrackMan technology, and a $4 billion instruction industry, the average golfer has gotten only 3 strokes better. 3 strokes in 4 decades. Now the real question is why? Will we always just suck at golf? Or is there a deeper answer to why we haven't improved? In this video, we're going to look at the data that shows the entire equipment industry is selling you the wrong solution and has known it for years. We're going to talk about why your instructor gets paid the same whether your handicap goes down or not, and what that actually means for your game. We're going to get into why the single biggest scoring variable for most golfers, the thing that separates a 90 shooter from an 80 shooter, has nothing to do with your swing and everything to do with a part of the game that almost nobody practices. And we're going to look at why, even when golfers know all of this, they keep making the same expensive mistake anyway. The USGA publishes handicap data on millions of registered golfers every single year. It's one of the most thorough data sets in amateur sports, and when you dig into it, a few things jump out pretty fast. In 1983, the USGA conducted what was at the time the largest sampling of golf handicaps ever attempted, 250,000 golfers across the country. The average male handicap came back at 17.0. 40 years later, with 3.6 million golfers now tracked by the World Handicap System, that number sits at 14. So the industry grew by an order of magnitude. Technology transformed every part of the game, and the needle moved 3 strokes. The distribution is where it gets interesting. The most common handicap range for male golfers in America right now is 13 to 14. It has been that way for as long as the data exists. The middle of the bell curve hasn't moved. The guys at the very bottom, the ones who were already terrible, got slightly less terrible, which is where most of that 3-stroke improvement actually came from. The equipment helps a 28 handicap more than it helps a 14, and the 14s are just stuck. Only 2% of male golfers in the United States carry a scratch handicap or better. 2%. The National Golf Foundation, which surveys tens of thousands of golfers every year, puts the average score even more bluntly, 94. That number, they say, has barely moved in decades. 62% of all golfers shoot above 90 in every round they play. Every round. Now, golf is hard, obviously, but we're not talking about a sport with limited access to coaching or technology. Golf has more instructional content, more equipment options, and more data than almost any other recreational sport on Earth. The question isn't why some people can't break 90. The question is why a $70 billion industry can't seem to move that number. The answer starts with who that industry actually serves. Golf instruction in the United States alone is a $2 billion industry. That's instructors, academies, clinics, apps, online programs. Add equipment on top, clubs, balls, bags, shoes, rangefinders, and you're looking at a domestic market worth tens of billions. Globally, the number is around $70 billion a year. Here is how almost none of that money works. You book a lesson, 45 minutes. You pay somewhere between $50 and $300, depending on who's holding the iPad. You hit balls. The instructor watches, gives feedback, makes corrections. The session ends. You drive home. At no point in that transaction is anyone accountable for whether your handicap actually goes down. In almost every other professional services field, there's at least some tether between the work and the outcome. Financial advisors lose clients when portfolios bleed. Personal trainers get fired when the scale doesn't move. Tutors don't last long if grades don't come up. Golf instruction is one of the only industries where the payment and the result are almost completely disconnected, by design and by tradition. The pay-per-lesson model means an instructor who genuinely fixes your swing in 3 sessions has done their job perfectly and eliminated themselves as a recurring revenue source. The instructor who keeps finding new things to work on, keeps you engaged, keeps you booking, keeps you believing the next session is the one, that's a much more durable business. Again, Most instructors actually want their students to improve. But good intentions don't override incentive structures. The structure of the business is not built around your handicap going down. It's built around your next appointment. The equipment side runs the same play, just with a different product. Companies release a new driver every 12 to 18 months. The performance gains from one generation to the next are, in most independent tests, marginal, sometimes within the margin of measurement error. But the marketing isn't selling performance data. It's selling the belief that the problem is your clubs. Because if you believe the problem was your short game, the solution is free. Go practice chipping. But if it's your driver, that's $600. And here's a fitting appointment on Saturday. The equipment myth aside, the instruction charade is story, the story nobody is really talking about. Golf instruction has operated on essentially the same framework for over 100 years. Grip, stance, takeaway, backswing, transition, impact, follow-through. Fix the mechanics, the thinking goes, and the scores take care of themselves. Every PGA teaching certification is built around some version of this model. Every lesson tee in the country defaults to it. It is the chart that everyone follows, and almost nobody has stopped to check if it's actually right. A few years ago, researchers started applying strokes gained analysis to amateur golfer data. Strokes gained is the statistical framework the PGA Tour uses to measure precisely where shots are being lost relative to the field. When applied to recreational golfers, the results were not what the instruction industry was built to deliver. For golfers shooting between 85 and 95, the majority of all registered golfers, more than 40% of all strokes lost happen within 100 yards of the hole. Putting alone accounts for 30 to 35% of the total strokes in an average round. The tee shot, the product the entire equipment industry is selling, accounts for less than 20% of the scoring difference between a 90 shooter and an 80 shooter. The difference between shooting 90 and shooting 80 is mostly decided in the scoring zone and on the green. Not at the tee, not with your driver, with your wedge and your putter, on shots inside 100 yards that never show up in a launch monitor session. Walk into any golf retailer and count the floor space dedicated to drivers versus putting aids. Look at how any standard lesson program allocates time between full swing work and short game. The industry is structured around the swing because that's the part of the game that photographs well, that sells equipment, that gives an instructor something visual to correct on video. Putting is boring to teach. Chipping doesn't have a launch angle. You can't build a $600 product around lag putting practice, so the standard model persists. Generations of golfers cycle through lesson tees getting their swing analyzed, while their short game, where the round is actually won or lost, deteriorates quietly. The average golfer three-putts more than they realize, chips it to 12 feet more than they realize, and has no idea because nobody is measuring it. The data has been available for years. The industry just isn't built to act on it. Here is what this actually looks like on the ground. The equipment cycle is the most common version. A golfer shoots 95, decides the problem is the driver, spends $500 on a new one with a custom fitting, another $200 for the session, goes out and shoots 94 on a good day, figures maybe the irons are holding him back too, another $1,200, still a 16 handicap, tries new wedges at $350. At no point in this process does anyone sit down with him and say, you three-putt 11 holes around. You chip it to 15 feet and call it a good up and down. No club on the market touches either of those problems. The lesson spiral is subtler. Takes a lesson. Instructor identifies 8 things wrong with the swing. Works on 1. Books again. Instructor identifies 6 more. Now he's standing over the ball with a checklist in his head. Left arm straight, weight forward, don't flip, stay connected, turn, don't slide. And he can barely get the club back. Scores go sideways. He's been taking lessons for 18 months and is a higher handicap than when he started. Keeps going back because he's already in this far. Then there's the training aid collector, orange whip, swing plane trainer, impact bag, putting mirror, alignment sticks, weighted club, 2 different putting gates, thousands of dollars sitting in the corner of a garage, collecting dust next to a bag of clubs bought 3 seasons ago. Shoots 97. None of this is stupidity. It's an entirely rational response to a machine that is very good at making the next purchase feel like the solution. The industry spent decades and billions of dollars building that belief. It works. The masters figured out a long time ago that the most powerful thing you can sell someone isn't a product, it's a feeling. Augusta sells the feeling of being a guest. The equipment industry sells the feeling of potential. Lessons sell the feeling of progress. The feeling is real. The handicap doesn't move. The obvious question is why smart people keep making the same bad decision. And the answer is not that they're dumb. The answer is more interesting than that. Think about what improvement in golf actually requires. 200 putts on a practice green before you touch a driver. Chipping from the same spot over and over until you stop flinching. Playing around where you deliberately lay up on holes you'd normally try to hero, tracking whether the number goes down. It is slow, it is boring. It is not something you can photograph and post. A new driver feels like progress the moment it's in your hands. A lesson where someone draws swing plane lines on a video of you. That feels like progress. Buying the same training aid you saw a tour pro using on Instagram, that's progress. These things are purchases. Improvement is a process, and a process doesn't ship in 2 days. Behavioral economists call this present bias. We systematically overvalue what feels good right now and undervalue what pays off later. It's not a character flaw, it's how human decision-making is wired. And the golf industry is extraordinarily well calibrated to exploit it. There's also a social dimension that doesn't get talked about. Showing up to the range and spending an hour on the practice green before hitting a single full shot, your playing partners are going to look at you. Telling someone you didn't buy a new driver this year because you've been working on your lag putting instead, that's a strange conversation to have. Conventional behavior in golf is buy the club, take the lesson, upgrade the equipment. Unconventional behavior has a social cost, even when it works. NFL general managers face almost the exact same problem. The data, going back decades, shows that early first-round picks are systematically overvalued relative to what players actually produce on their rookie contracts. Trading down, accumulating picks, letting the market overpay for top selections. The numbers support it clearly. But a GM who tanks the present for a better future gets fired in year 2. So everyone follows the same chart they've always followed, even when the chart is wrong, because the incentives punish anyone who tries to do it differently. Golf is the same system, different price points. The Super Bowl generates 127 million viewers. The Masters pulls 12 to 15 million. Augusta doesn't care. It's not trying to win the ratings game. It's trying to win the imagination game, and it has, for nearly a century, without breaking a sweat. The golf improvement industry works on the opposite logic. It wins the spending game, $70 billion a year, while losing the outcome game entirely. 3 strokes better in 40 years. That's the product. The data on where rounds are actually lost has existed for years. The short game is where it happens. Putting is where it happens. The tee shot is, statistically, almost irrelevant to whether you break 90. None of that is a secret. It's just not profitable to say out loud. Augusta charges $5 for a beer. At the Super Bowl, it's $22. Augusta leaves tens of millions of dollars on the table every single year doing that. And it's one of the most effective brand decisions in the history of sports, because the patron is a guest, not a revenue source. Your instructor charges you $150 whether your handicap goes down or not. The driver company releases a new model every 12 months whether last year's made you better or not. Nobody in the industry is leaving money on the table for you. The practice green is empty. The range is packed. There's a reason for that. Now you know what it is.